In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use visual format language in order to show what we want to on a view. We've been using frames up to this point, so we'll call it a Swift visual format. We've got our language as Swift. We'll create it in our projects folder. Now, the interesting thing with visual format is we're not going to specify an X and Y coordinate. We're just going to let the auto layout engine take care of how we lay out our views. So first we're going to create two views. We'll call it let red view, and we'll create it as a UI view. We're using our exclamation point on that to tell it that it is not optional. Blue view, UI view, and then we're going to, well, actually just initialize it, and we don't have to worry about it. We're going to prepare these also for auto layout. So it's saying, hey, we got to do something here. We don't need to do that. Instead, we'll do our UI red view equals UI view. Let's see if it likes that better. And now our warnings just are, hey, we could initialize it like that. We're going to need to use it. So we're going to do red view dot translates auto resizing masks. We'll see, it's false. Translates auto resizing mask into constraints. Now when we're using in the frame layouts, the auto resizing mask will try and auto resize how we want to show our view. If we rotate it into portrait, or depending on the screen size as well. So here we've got blue view. We want to do the same thing, and we'll set that to false. And the reason we set it to false is, again, we don't want the view to specify it. So we're going to do red view dot background color equals UI color dot red color, and then we'll do the same thing here. Blue view dot background color equals UI view dot blue color, or UI color, sorry, dot blue color. And then we just need to add them both to our master view. So self.view.add subview red view. And self.view.add subview blue view. So now we've got two views. We have no frames. We have no idea how to lay these out. So we're going to actually create some what are called constraints, basically telling us how these are going to lay out in relation to each other. First, we need to create what's called a dictionary. We'll create a dictionary. Within this dictionary, we're going to call it a dictionary. Just copy and paste some code over here because I can't type. A dictionary literal, and we'll call this first one red, and then we specify what it is. It is our red view. And then we have another one, and this is just key value pairing. So we'll call this one blue, and this is our blue view. So what we've done is we've created a key called red and a key called blue, and then the object is either the red view or the blue view. Now we want to specify some constraints. So we are going to do a we'll call it our horizontal constraints. So that's our variable name, and it's an NS layout constraint, and it's a constraint with visual format. Options, metrics, and views. So first we're going to put in our format, which we've got an H specifying horizontal. Our bar there specifies the far left side of the super view, or the view holding these views, which in this case is self.view. Then we're going to put in some brackets, and we're going to say red and then blue. And what that says basically is I want these to be next to each other and I want them to fill up the whole screen. But we haven't specified exactly the width. So we want the blue view to equal the red. Our options, we're just going to put in a blank array. Our metrics is nil, and our views is our views dictionary. So now we've created a constraint. We've added the constraint to it, so we need to add the self.view.add constraint, horizontal constraints. And then we need to do the same thing for vertical constraints. We actually need to create two different vertical constraints because we're going to put a red view and a blue view next to each other horizontally and have them fill up the whole space vertically. Just looking at this error, trying to figure out, cannot convert value of type this constraint. We'll keep going. It may fix itself. We'll call this one our vertical constraint. We're just going to copy and paste this. We'll make one change to it, so we still have the views, but now we just want to say, hey, our red view, you're going to take up that whole space. Equal that. There we go. And then we do a self.view. So we're adding constraints instead of one constraint. We're going to copy this again because not only do we have to say that for our red view, we also have to say it for our blue view. We're just going to call this vertical constraint 1. We're going to build and run this. And what we should see is horizontally a blue view and a red view next to each other. But we've got a problem because we pop up and in our debugger window, in our console, it tells us that we can't satisfy all these constraints at the same time. So let's read through it and see what we're figuring out. Usually if we look at the top, we can kind of figure out what's going on. This top constraint, so it says that they're horizontally, there's a bar, and then there's a UI view, and then there's another UI view. But it looks like there's a couple of different constraints. So the first thing we're going to do is check and make sure that we have specified that we are not translating our auto resizing masks. We're going to make sure that we've specified our horizontal direction correctly. Let's take out this equals red really quick and see what happens. Oh, I see what it is. We didn't change these from horizontal to vertical, and so we were trying to give it 3 different constraints in the horizontal direction instead of in the vertical direction. So H for horizontal, V for vertical constraints. Now we've got a red view and a blue view, and if we rotate, you can see it auto expands to fill up what it needs to based on our rotation. So again, this is auto layout using the visual format language, specifying how every view needs to lay out in relationship to each other instead of specifying an X, a Y, a width, and a height, and a auto resizing mask of how things can grow as a rotation may occur.